Welcome back. Um, Back to the topic, episode 4. This one's gonna be a quick one. Ain't much to talk about, man. We all know what happened this past weekend. The Chiefs beat the Ravens, um, and the 49ers beat the Titans. Let's talk about the 49ers and Titans first, and then we'll get right into the Chiefs and the Ravens. 49ers Titans. I've been pushing Brock Purdy agenda all year. I was pushing it last year. Um, he had a he had a game winning drive, however you want to call it. He led his team down the field, of course, with some help from Christian McCaffrey as well. But he's 2 years in, first year NFC Championship, second year Super Bowl. I mean, you can paint it however you want to paint it, but that's an amazing feat. You know what I'm saying? To do that in back-to-back seasons, in your first 2 seasons, NFC Championship and then a Super Bowl. I don't care how stacked your team is. There's still things you're required to do. You're still required to get the job done at the end of the day. So yes, McCaffrey is amazing. Yes, Deebo Samuel is amazing. Yes, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, Trent Williams. He's surrounded with great talent, but he still has to make those passes. He has to make those throws, however you want to paint it. Because we don't. If this was any other quarterback, I feel like we wouldn't be making these excuses. He's on the best team. Da, 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 da. What do you want him to do? You want him to go to a worse team, put himself in a worse situation? He's even making some of the throws. Every throw is not a great throw, but we've seen great throws made in critical situations. He's made those throws. There's something to be said about that. So I will continue to push my agenda. Uh, he's been one of the most successful starters in the last 2 years. Doesn't matter who you name. You know what I'm saying? Um, he's been more successful than Josh Allen, uh, Lamar as well. I guess you could say, right? Um, so yeah, you have to give credit where credit is due. You can't give these reasons on why he's as successful as he is, or he's only successful. Whatever, y'all know what I like to say. The results are the results. Don't matter how you got there. Mm. NFC Championship, Super Bowl. As far as the game goes, I think the Lions, man, they blew it. Dan Campbell's been aggressive all year. I've talked about it before. You know, he's very confident on fourth down. I don't think there's a coach as confident as him on fourth down. 4th and 3, 4th and 4, 4th and 5. Doesn't matter. 4th and 7, he might even go for it. And so it's worked for him pretty good all year. It's been pretty successful for him. Um, I guess you can kind of say it came back to bite him in the ass uh, in this last game. But it's like you don't switch up when you get there. You That's probably the worst thing you could do as a coach. Lose your identity, start coaching differently, or as a player, start playing differently than what got you to where you are in the moment. Um, so, if he converts, he's a genius, right? And we saw what happened in the Bills. Here's why I'm not mad at it. We saw a Bills Chiefs game, and we saw their kicker miss a 30 whatever yarder. Just because you're in field goal range does not guarantee you a field goal. On the other hand, yes, I would like to see a kick a field goal to cut it to one possession. Because they ultimately scored again after that and cut it to 3. They end up losing by 3. I don't know if it goes that way if they kick the field goal as well. Um, excuse me, but like I said, that's what got him to that point. I kind of respect it, honestly. Like, how could you not? He stayed true to himself, true to who he was, true to who the team has been the whole season. Um, at the end of the day, they had to put points on the board in that second half, which they failed to do. Uh, and as far as the 49ers, that was impressive. I'm not going to lie. Come down 17, I think, at one point, going into halftime, maybe. And to come from behind and win that game, that was impressive because we're not used to seeing the 49ers play from behind. The defense stepped up. The offense stepped up. Everybody stepped up. Nick Bosa was, man, he's doing what he does. One of the best pass rushers. That secondary covered well. Uh, Possibly the best linebacker duo in the league. One or two, give or take. They played well. So I'm excited to see, the next game. But I think that was impressive what the 49ers did. And, we have to give it to Brock Purdy. We have to. There's not much left to say, honestly. Chiefs Ravens. Man, I wanted Lamar to win, but obviously it didn't turn out that way. And everybody's talking about the amount of rushing attempts they got. I too am curious what happened to that. And understand as Lamar has gotten older in the league, he's run less. He stands in the pocket. His eyes are downfield. He's not as quick to take off. But I think there are moments where we need to get that old Lamar back. The one that will take off. He had time, 4 or 5 seconds, da da da. And his eyes are still downfield, but there's also opportunities where he could have ran for 12, 14, 18 yards. And I understand he's not running full speed trying to score touchdowns like he used to. But those first downs were there. And I understand him, being more of a passer, more of a pocket passer, or more quarterbacky as he's gotten older. But I think there were just some opportunities that he missed where he could have scrambled, for the first down many times. But I think the story of the game was the Chiefs' defense, man. They outplayed the Ravens' defense 100%. Held the Ravens to 10 points. But it was a multitude of things. The bad play calling by the Ravens. They're calling flare screens on 3rd and 9 and trips to the wide side, like without the numbers. Some of those calls I just don't get, man. Really, like year in and year out, the Ravens are one of the best rushing offenses. So, and the Chiefs are not one of the best rushing defenses. So I don't get why that wasn't the game plan to begin with. Between Gus Edwards, Justice Hill, and who did they just? Whoever else they just signed, but they kind of abandoned, but also the Ravens defense played outstanding in the second half on the Chiefs to 0 points. That has to be acknowledged. 10 points is unacceptable. Granted, the Zay Flowers, man, wow, that is a life-size mistake that he made. Because if you look at it, if he catches it, tucks it, lowers his shoulder, he has a great chance of getting in the end zone. If he doesn't, it's a first down. Reset the downs. 1st and goal on the 3. Why are you diving right there? It was so unnecessary. I hate to say it pretty much cost them the game. They had 2 turnovers in the red zone. You can't win football games like that. You cannot win football games turning the ball over in the red zone. That's the last place you can turn it over. Because if they score 3 points, that's a 6-point swing. If they score a touchdown, the extra point, that's a 10-point swing. You understand how that works? If you got for the Ravens, it's probably a 14-point swing because they're a pretty decent team in the red zone. If somebody scores off of that, but man, that's a life-size mistake by Zay Flowers. That was just a tough loss for the Ravens, man. Honestly, I think if they could go back, they'd stick to their identity, run the football. They have great running backs, but they have a great rushing offense between Lamar, Justice, and Gus Edwards and that O line. They've been able to run the ball effectively all year. Why they reverted from that in the AFC Championship game, who knows? But I know they wish they could have that one back. I was super impressed by the Chiefs defense. They came up with big plays, possession after possession, but the Ravens turnovers in crucial points of the games. That interception by Lamar, it was bad as well. Um, it's just a lot of things went wrong for the Ravens, from turnovers to intercept. Like, Chiefs won the turnover battle easily, obviously. Um, it just got away from the Ravens. Just really got away from themselves, and you know, anytime you're able to hold Patrick Mahomes to 17 points, you've got to capitalize on that. You have to capitalize on that. But that's also on me for doubting Patrick Mahomes, right? Last week I said Lamar wins this, the gap closes. This was you know, this bad. You might can't go against him, in January and February. You might need to stick beside him if you're a gambling man. Um, 4 Super Bowls in 5 years. That's beyond impressive. Uh, at 28 years old, man, there's not much to say about that other than, he's on track to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest. I don't, there's a big debate about him and Tom. He's got a long way to go before you catch Tom. Tom has seven. Why are we calling him the GOAT after 2 right now? Maybe 3. He's not even halfway there. He's on track. He can be on track. We don't have to call him the GOAT. Everybody doesn't have to be the GOAT, right? Tom is the GOAT. We don't have to call somebody the GOAT after 3 Super Bowls. Can he get 6 first before we even get there to that conversation? Or, get 10, 12, 15 years into the league? You don't even have to get 6 or 7. Can he get close? 4 or 5. He has 2 right now. Let's slow down. I think he has a great chance to be, to catch Tom, maybe. He's not even remotely close to the GOAT, though. We got to stop. We got to push a different narrative or something, man. Seriously. Moving on. Let's talk a little bit about the NBA. I've seen a lot of people complaining about the 65 game rule. I don't have a problem with it. We can't allow players to keep load managing. Y'all are getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball, to entertain people. Y'all are hundreds of millions of dollars. There's players out here making 500. If you break it down, a couple $100,000 a game, whatever it is. And then there's players like that are 24 and 25 load managing. There's people out here that are making $60,000 and $70,000 a year that can only go to 1 or 2 games the entire season, and then y'all want to sit out that game for what? Y'all have an off season. Y'all work in the off season too as well, but like, it's on your time, right? Y'all get to travel the world during off season. It's not a slight at players, but like, the load management and the resting was getting a little bit too crazy. I support the 65 game rule because you shouldn't be awarded for sitting out games. You need to play. That's part of the deal. You make your money. They pay you to play. You can't keep sitting out and getting awarded over a guy who only missed 5 games or 7 games. You want to play 58? It doesn't work like that. Now that your money is tied into it, you take it a little bit serious. I think, and to begin with, a lot of guys were just resting because they can. There was no consequences. There has to be some type of consequences to this ordeal. And obviously, a lot of guys, incentives, All NBA, All Star, MVP, defensive first team, shooting this number, whatever those incentives count towards your next contract. Those bonuses, and these aren't $50,000. These are hundreds and millions of dollars in bonuses as well. So I think the load management at some point the players kind of took it as a joke, just sitting out all these games, and these guys are 26, 27. Why are you load managing? You should work in the offseason to be prepared to play 82 games. They did it back then. There's better equipment. There's better training these days. There's nutritionists, dietitians. It's more manageable now, and that's on you to be ready to play 82 games or 75, 70. They're allowing you to miss 17 games. That's quite a bit of games. If you ask me, I don't have a problem with it. Y'all are entertainers. Also, this is your job. Y'all are entertainers. Y'all get paid to do this. I didn't like the sitting out thing, but there's no complaints from me. I support it 100%. And then I'm gonna quickly get into my predictions for next week. I want Brock Purdy to win, but it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes. Player for player, I think the 49ers have the matchups. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes, though. Rematch? I'm going with the 49ers. I think the Ravens struggled to get home on the pass rush against the Chiefs. And I don't think the 49ers have that same problem. And then 49ers, they have the guys on the outside. They have the guys in the backfield. They have the guys up front. Player for player, they match up better than the Chiefs match up with them. I think if Brock Purdy can manage the game as he does, I think the 49ers have a good chance to win. I can't. It's. I don't want to see. I don't want to see Taylor Swift all over the TV. All that nonsense, man. It's just too much. It's outside of football at this point. I'm a hater. Yes. So I'm going with the 49ers. I can't take the Chiefs storyline anymore. It just seems so fabricated. Like I said, it's no longer football at that point. 49ers 31-24 over the Chiefs. Christian McCaffrey is your Super Bowl MVP. See y'all next week.